Welcome, everyone. This is All Minus One, and I'm Bill. Glad to see you all here. I'm going to do some housekeeping real quick, but before I do that, I just want to remind everyone what I am doing here, what I'm trying to do here. My process of doing this stream, this channel, is to talk about the weakness of our society, how it has gotten this way, and how we can maybe fix that. I don't believe that we can change all of society, but I believe that we who see the bigger picture, who understand what's going on, who at least have some semblance of agreement and want to live in peace and liberty, can create societies for ourselves. So just to throw that out there, because I don't bring it up often enough, and I know that my shows can be a hodgepodge sometimes, because I'm a guy who has a lot going on in my mind constantly. So um, in any case, so to the housekeeping real quick, I am streaming on Rumble right now. I'd appreciate it if everyone who is not subbed over there, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on DLive, or if you're watching on Entropy, to go over to Rumble and give me a sub there. I believe, I'm pretty certain that I can receive funds there as well if you guys wish to donate. Of course, there is the Entropy. That's another way you can donate. And there is a PayPal as well. And no pressure to do that, of course. It's just a matter of you all, if you wish to help me and my family out, it's, extra money for my pocket for the time I'm taking out to do this, right? So I see. I got first, I just set up the stream 2 hours ago. I got a few people in, so that's good. Uh, York's getting his house together. I helped him get, so that's good. Yes, stop by to say howdy. Yes, I haven't even caught one of your streams. I haven't caught Don's stream or your stream or Sniper stream in forever. Uh, I've been watching so little compared to what I used to, or listening to so little. But that's what happens, you start working 50 hours a week. The other thing I wanted to add in there real quick was if the sound on anything, not just my voice, but on any of the videos I'm about to play is off, weird, strange, please let me know. And I'll do my best to fix it. I'm not a tech guy. I run this through StreamYards, but I'll see if I can resolve it one way or another. So without further ado, let's get into it. Novus, Ordo, Seclorum, the new secular order or the new world order. Various ways you can translate that. And, H.G. Wells had something to say about this. Countless people will hate the new world order and will die protesting it. We have to bear in mind the distress of a generation or so of malcontents. And he basically was like, in his writing in that book, he was essentially stating that, yes, people are going to have to die to allow this thing to happen because people don't want it. And you can find his book, of course, uh, in PDF form very easily on the interwebs. But you know, maybe you're a hard copy person. Maybe you like paperbacks or whatever. I certainly do. I mean, imagine all the cool gadgetry we have gets destroyed in some manner or another, or the access is cut off by the governments or something. I still want to have the information. So back there behind me, directly behind my old cover from my dress blues from the Marine Corps, is The New World Order by H.G. Wells, and beside it is actually his other book talking about the same thing called The Open Conspiracy. And so here's just a little quick quote here. The character of the open conspiracy, the movement towards a world collective, will now be plainly displayed. It will have become a great world movement as widespread and evident as socialism or communism. It will largely have taken the place of these movements. It will be more. It will be a world religion. Interesting. Predictions from the past. I did a little series on that. Started doing live streamings. I, made about 20 videos or something. Again, a hodgepodge of things, but all things of history and where people from the past were saying we would be going. Wells specifically was trying to implement this, and so were many of the people in his age. And right here at the very top from the PDF is a summary, a very short summary of Wells's book, The Open Conspiracy. The Open Conspiracy was Wells's blueprint for a world revolution. He regarded this book as his finished statement on the way the world ought to be ordered. Possibly, he underestimated or ignored the fact that it is often in the interest of subsets of the human race to act against other subsets. Moreover, the emphasis on religion seems odd from a rationalist. No, it does not. Because if you are an actual rational human being, then you perhaps understand what human beings are. And they are emotional creatures, primarily, first, above all. You are an emotional creature. You post hoc justify your rational actions, your so-called rational actions. But you are first off emotional, and rationality appeals to your emotion. If rationality appeals to you, people who don't like rationality, they have no emotional appeal to it. They don't feel good about it, right? And they specifically don't like it generally because rationality tends to defeat their beliefs and arguments. But of course, they're children. They're grown children. They live as little children do in a pretend fantasy world, not connected to reality. I've been seeing more and more videos about the New World Order and the end times on my YouTube video this past week. Is this a sign? I don't know, but there is, a collective unconscious, which is something I did want to talk about. And the collective unconscious at the time, in this day and age that Wells was writing, was very, very strong in the progressive ways. You had fascism on the rise, which is a progressive movement. You had communism on the rise, which is a progressive movement. And here in the United States, we didn't name it anything, but we also had a milder form of fascism on the rise here, which was a progressive movement that never went away. Now, the whole key to all of this is the understanding of a synthesis of things, of how these things work. And guys, I joke often about being a conspiracy theorist. I don't actually believe in a lot of the more fringe weird things. I believe simply this, that God is real, Christ was God incarnate, he lived, there were things that he predicted. He came into a vision to John and told him how the Christian church would be for the rest of the generations until his returning, and that there was a theme within that about governments and powers, the similar theme that was echoed from Daniel. In fact, the theme is in the entire Bible. This is why I disagree with the Christian monarchist, because monarchy was not what God chose for you under men, only under God. But I digress. I'm not going to go down that route today. I'm going to talk about the one world government that is here. It's been here. It has been implemented. And I'm going to play this video for you real quick that just occurred the other day. And Ignatius, this might be why you see it in the collective unconscious or the zeitgeist. But I will say one last thing about that real quick. Understand that that is completely and utterly a reality. Maybe you don't believe in that. Maybe you think it's hocus pocus or superstition or some sort of coincidence. But the scriptures speak of principalities and principles of the air. There, he's talking about spirits. He's talking about those who are the watchers, as they were once known as, those who basically are in charge of the world on a different level, right? On that spiritual interdimensional level that we don't understand or can't see. So with that, how many times have you all maybe had, like in your life, if it happened once or twice, it just maybe coincidence, but how many times have you thought about somebody or wanted to connect with somebody or wanted to see something even on TV and all of a sudden it was there, right? All of a sudden that friend calls you or texts you. I just had this the other week. I was like, dude, I was just thinking about you. I was going to get a hold of you. I was just going to ask you, about this or that. That circumstance specifically was unfortunate, but um, you know, the getting in contact with my friend, that is. But this happens all of the time. There is not a full understanding of this, but it seems to be a universal human phenomenon. And these are the things I'm talking about. You have to, start thinking in a manner in which you look at the world spiritually and not just, oh, that's just a coincidence. Oh, I just played that off, or I just throw that out, play it off because my rational mind says that's ridiculous or whatever. We don't understand everything in the universe. It's just the reality. We don't. And in this life, we never will. I don't think human beings are ever going to become gods, but the globalists and the people who support the New World Order would wish to be so. Hey, Kizza, I'm doing pretty good, man. Kizza's been working a lot too, so Kizza hit me up on on Discord the other day. I was like, "Hey, long time no speak," and I was like, "Yeah, man, working a lot." In any case, so a lot of the reason why this is being covered is because of Joe Biden, because Joe Biden said the quiet part out loud. But did he really? No, he didn't. Let's listen to it real quick.
An inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world.
All right, so he just talked about the new world order there. Sorry, I was responding to Rumble chat from Fartwiff, and I was saying glad I chose Rumble. But yes, it's about being accessible to the little guy like me, who if I make any money from streaming, it's because you all are generous. I don't, I'm not monetized or any of that kind of stuff. So, Rumble was working on good live streaming and they were offering it to certain people and it was in beta and all. Now it's open to everybody. So I have access and I'll stream there. I think there's a few hoops I have to go through to do Odysee, but once I get the time, get that set up or figure that out completely, I will get that going as well. In any case, so Joe Biden here says the New World Order. He says it out loud. Let's play it real quick one more time. Oh, yay. My video doesn't want to play for me. Oh, well. In any case, regardless, he says it out loud. Now, what is the New World Order to these people? Well, it's nothing but the global order. See, the old world order goes back to the idea of the old world and the kings and queens and royalty, the nobles who ruled by divine right. The New World Order is a secular order that is worldly without religion, but that's not really true. It's without religion on the surface. The people who run it are absolutely in occult religion, 100%. It's in the UN. It's in these folks' writings. Go look at the things that they believe in and say, like Hillary Clinton consulting mediums and spiritualists. They are very much into these things. See all the world leaders that are Freemasons. Or, we have old President George W. Bush, H.W. Herbert Walker.
I'm the one.
Whoops. That wasn't what I wanted to add. It was this. I'll get to that in a minute. We have George Herbert Walker Bush, who was a member of the Skull and Bones, the Order of Death that comes straight out of it ties to Bavaria and potentially all the way back to the famed Adam Weishaupt, the Illuminist, the first Illuminati guy, supposedly, whatever. Again, that doesn't matter if one guy got caught with a letter and everyone calls him the Illuminati or not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what group these people are in. Doesn't matter if they're Rosicrucians. If you've ever heard of them, you probably haven't because they're a little bit more secretive than others. If you haven't heard of the Club of Rome, or which I talk about frequently because they're very big on the climate issue and mainly world overpopulation. If you there were, of course, the Knights Templar back in the day, which were an actual order of crusaders who apparently became occultists. And there are many different Templar orders, but mainly has been pulled into Freemasonry. There's forms of what's called co-masonry. There's all this different stuff. Again, I'm not here to tell you all that stuff. I'm not here to feed you guys like, I'm here to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for you to find your way. But what I will tell you is that George W. Bush made this statement quite a bit about the New World Order. And he said several things with that. occultic things with that. Now, most people you might hear will claim that Bush only used this phraseology one time. And that's not true. He used it quite often. But I leave this up here because take note of the date. And coincidence? Maybe. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think. So here, we'll play this clip real quick.
Will not raise taxes.
This is him speaking at the RNC before he was, or to be the nominee, I believe, before he was voted into office. And what did he talk about? Not raising taxes. Now, this is an important clip because this kind of defined his presidency, and it's probably a large reason why he actually, that and Ross Perot did not win a second term.
My opponent. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes. I say it without boast or bravado. I've fought for my country. I've served. I've built. And I'll go from the hills to the hollows, from the cities to the suburbs, to the loneliest town on the quietest street, to take our message of hope and growth for every American, to every American. I will keep America moving forward, always forward, for a better America, for an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it.
So, if you didn't catch it, he said 1,000 points of light. Now, that term was used, or that phrase was used to the masses, to the public. That was his way of trying to say, you all are the points of light out there. But see, occultists, they don't talk in simple terms. He wasn't saying that. He was talking to other occultists. The 1,000 points of light is about Luciferianism, the light bearer, those who are bright and bring in the illuminated or the Gnostic understanding of things. And I'm going to go to the wiki real quick. And this is what it says, just so you know. 1,000 points of light. The phrase 1,000 points of light was popularized by U.S. President George H.W. Bush and later formed the name of a private nonprofit organization launched by Bush to support volunteerism. Yes, he did name an organization called the 1,000 Points of Light. They have a YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So this is the interesting thing here. The first known instance of the phrase 1,000 points of light appears in Arthur C. Clarke's short story Rescue Party. Okay, that was in 1946. This is according to Wiki. Oh, give me a second, guys. Technical difficulties. There we go. So it's in there. I'm not going to read all that, but it was later found in William S. Burroughs Lee's journals, written between 1945 and 1957, initially published in 1981. Okay. And then it goes on to talk about how C.S. Lewis used it or something similar to it, yada, yada, yada. It has no real context. It talks about Donald Trump questioning. He's like, I didn't get that saying. Yeah, nobody did. Nobody got it because they didn't understand. They weren't illuminists. They weren't part of the globalist world order. They weren't occultists. Why would you understand some weird phrase like that? And It goes on about the organization, yada, 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 right? There's really nothing else there. It's pretty basic. But, I'm going to go to a conspiracy blog and, take it for what it's worth. But just to give you some ideas. According to Gnostic theology, this is true. I can reference you resources where you can look up Gnostic theology, and there's quite a lot of it. Some people claim that the sources that are Christian sources are incorrect, but I don't know about that because we don't have a lot of sources outside of the Christian sources. So, according to Gnostic theology, when Eve and Adam ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they ate the beautiful fruit of gnosis or knowledge, right? And what Gnostics were in the early Christian ages is they were people taking the mystery cults, the mystery religions, which still exist, and they were taking them and they were applying them to Christianity. This is something that has been rehashed. It's something that's it's not really anything new because we had people in the church doing this throughout the ages as well. People studying alchemy, which is again a part of these things. But I mentioned or have mentioned a lot recently Alice A. Bailey because she did exactly this. She took gnosis and she applied it to Christianity, and she said there would be a second coming of Christ, but it wouldn't be in the way that we thought, the Christians thought, right? It would be a different kind of Christ, and in her words, it was Maitreya, Christ Maitreya. So it says they ate the beautiful fruit of gnosis or knowledge. According to Pike, that is Albert Pike. So the Genesis 6 conspiracy, I'll actually scroll down here real quick. You can go through all this as a big, long thing of different things. And, there's a lot of writers that are trying to piece this together. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, guys. I just know where the breadcrumbs lead, and they lead to occultism and people who want a one world government and a one world religion with a one world economy. And we have one of those of sorts, a second one sort of as well. The third one is yet to be implemented. That is, we do have a one world government of sorts. It's not fully solidified, but we certainly do. We do have a one world economy of sorts. It's not fully solidified because the US dollar is the world, it's the world exchange, but that's, in my opinion, about to change. It's about to change to the yuan because why? Well, the Chinese, they run things better, at least according to the globalist. So, according to Albert Pike, Adonai was an evil demon. Adonai is a name for the god that put them there, or Jehovah in the garden, right? Forbidding Adam to eat of the fruit of knowledge. But Adam obeyed the angel of light, Lucifer, and ate it from the good side of the tree. And so St. Irenaeus professed in Gnostic literature that wisdom, Sophia, mother of Ledaboth, cunningly led Eve away from Ledaboth via the snake. And so Irenaeus, unless that's a different one, I thought that was St. Irenaeus of Loins, who I often reference because I so much appreciate his writings on this stuff. But maybe that's a different Irenaeus. Or the writer didn't write that very well. But this is what they believe. This is what's been passed down, and this is the power with the power superior to all. They then rebelled away from Lodaboth, Hancock, and Bevel Note, and the Hadi text. That is that's part of the Dead Sea Scroll text that were Gnostic texts. Depict the serpent as a hero and a benefactor to mankind. For after Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, they awaken to their luminous nature. And the 1,000 points of light is about those who are illuminated, those who understand the gnosis, who actually understand what George Bush was saying and agree with it. Because everyone else who doesn't know, you all are profane, and you're worthless because you don't know. Only by knowing do you have value. This is what Gnostics teach, essentially. I'm obviously simplifying it, as I tend to do, because I don't want to, get into all the nitty-gritty details. You have to educate yourself, guys. You have to figure out this thing. I can only give you my opinion, my perspective, and be a guide. But that's really what this was about. And so I'm going to play you this video now from old GW. This is the video that he was inaugurated in, right? He during his inauguration. Listen.
I've spoken of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding.
Yes, Ignatius. Both sides are run by the same people. Yes. Actually, I was going to bring this up in a bit. There's an old book, None Dare Call It a Conspiracy, by Gray Allen. And, I've talked many a times about how Nixon was the first real neocon. See, what happened is that because of the civil rights issue, the real freedom-loving Republicans kind of got crushed. William F. Buckley kind of got crushed, not because he was a racist, but because he thought it was a states' rights issue to desegregate. And then the leftists were seemingly getting anti-war. So there were these people who were on the left, and they were going, oh, well, we use the Republicans to start wars. And there was a paradigm shift, because before basically that time period, all the wars were started by the left. And, the international wars, at least. The wars of our modern age, I should say. But in this book, which was published in 1971, old dude lists the CFR here, and I don't know if you could read all the way down there at the bottom, but it says Henry Kissinger. Let me just do this. Let me just minimize these real quick for the moment. Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon on the right. Now, if you don't know who the CFR is, that's the Council of Foreign Relations. It's run by David Rockefeller. It's his big project. And they basically dictate all American foreign policy and tell us when we go to war or not. And then they release a magazine called Foreign Policy and pretend like they have nothing to do with it. That's the CFR. And Rockefeller, notably in his memoir, said has a statement saying, "Oh, I've been accused of being part of a global cabal to bring about a one world government. If that's the charge, I'm guilty as charged." Says it right in his memoirs. So again, what conspiracy do I believe in? The one that they admit openly. But let's get back to the video.
We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my government.
The people and the programs that are the brighter points of light. Well, those are the Illuminists.
To become involved. The old ideas are new again because they're not old. They are timeless. Duty, sacrifice, commitment, and a patriotism that finds its expression in taking part and pitching in.
So yeah, we have that. Let's see. What about this? Just give it a minute, guys. Announcement of Operation Desert Storm, January 16th, 1991.
This is an historic moment. We have in this past year made great progress in ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Fulfill its peacekeeping role. Now, I'm going to play one more video from OGW, or Herbert Walker, sorry. I don't know why I want to keep doing that. And this is during his State of the Union address, I believe. I believe that's what this is.
An overriding imperative to achieve results. We must bring that same sense of self-discipline, that same sense of urgency to the way we meet challenges here at home. In my state.
Well, maybe that was not the video I wanted. In any case, I want you to listen to Biden's statements again real quick, and we'll talk about a few more things. Let me re-upload that video because for some reason it doesn't want to play.
An inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people died, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is the time.
Okay, so 1,600 people died from, 1906 to basically the establishment of the global government after the Second World War. But what about all the people the communists killed? What about all the democide that happened afterwards? Joe Biden just said that it wasn't nearly as much. What about the millions of people that were killed in Iraq, incidentally, or Afghanistan, potentially, from the United States? What about the people that were killed by the Taliban via weapons that the United States gave them, or the cartels, or all of those other things? So this is one, just a flat out lie. But two, this is to establish this idea that we must be the world police, that we, the globalists, the new world order, the global world order, are the people that keep the peace. And this is a ploy or a play on what's going on over in Russia. Because, see, over there, they don't want to be necessarily a part of this, or they want to be at the head of it. I'm not sure which exactly, but they don't want the West to lead them. That's for sure. And the conflict in Ukraine is about NATO encroaching on their territory, primarily. It's also about the ethnic suppression of the Rus people in the Ukraine and a border dispute and a few other things, I'm sure, as well. For the Ukrainians, I showed you video last week on the Unjustified the Memes of them speaking, the Ukrainian militia individuals, people who are for the Zelensky regime, and they want to create several very powerful military states where Russia currently exists. So I don't know. I don't think that this is the way to go. Pretty sure it's not. In any case, I'll continue to play the video here.
Things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world.
He said he had to unite them. Yes, Spook. Iraq would have been a better place, and Iraq was Saddam was picked as a boogeyman. He did do some bad things. Don't get me wrong, but no different than, I don't know, anyone else. I mean, weren't we protecting the Syrian government who was gassing its people? You know, it's all about who plays ball with us, folks. It's all about who's going to play ball. But the biggest thing here is he talks about peace and security. Now, this is a little out of context. I'll read you the whole context in a second. You can think about it what you will, but the scriptures have an interesting statement. For when they shall say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Well, who's he talking about? Well, let's get to the context of that. real quick, because this is the fuller passage, although I would suggest not reading scriptures and chapter by chapter section, but this is First Thessalonians chapter 5. I would actually start this off further back, but for the sake of time, we're going to start here in verse 1. But if the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need, or but of the times and the seasons, this is the King James, I just use this site because it looks nice and clean. But of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write to you. For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. Now that saying contradicts all beliefs of when other sects, cults of Christianity say, we know when the Lord's coming back. No, you don't. You absolutely do not. There is nothing in the scripture that indicates that. Everything in the scripture says that no one will know. No man knows the day nor the hour, not even the Son himself, Christ said. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman and child, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Why are you not in darkness? Because you can see the signs of his coming. You know when the Lord is near. You know what is going on. And if at the very worst, if the Lord is not returning, then perhaps you will go to him. And that's not such a bad thing, is it? We worry about the things in this life, but I mean, if you truly believe, then you should welcome death. The early Christians certainly did. You are all the children of light and the children of day. We are not of night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep, and as others do, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep at night, and they that drink are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation. For God has not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. And when he's saying wake or sleep, sleep was a euphemism amongst the early Christians about being dead, because they didn't believe like modern Christians do, the Gnostic belief that you die and go to heaven. And I'm telling you, that is a Gnostic belief. Go read your early church writings on the Gnostics. They did not teach this. They taught an intermediary place because that's what was taught. That was what was believed. You go into, and some people have referred to it as soul sleep. The old scriptures, the Old Testament, that is, says the same thing. Talks about Daniel sleeping with his fathers. That's what that was about. That's what Sheol is, the grave. Hades was the Greek equivalent. Who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we would live together with him. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as you do. And I beseech you, whatever you do amongst you, do it for the Lord, and so forth. But what he's saying is, these are the signs of the times coming. Now, there's another interesting, this little passage, and I am going to read this completely out of context, because to put this in context of Revelations would be a very long time, because there are so many different ways that you could look at that book. And one of them is in the chiastic literary structure that it is, in a chiasm. That is, it's like a V. It's inverted so that it follows a certain pattern of writing, and it descends in a certain way, and then it goes back up in the other way, it mirroring itself. So that is a literary style of writing, and the book of Revelation, parts of it are written that way, which means that they are repeating. However, if anything, you could also look at it as a book that is linear. And it seems to be linear in time. And when you start reading the first 7 churches, it's really hard to get away from it. Seems like that these are, as many people have proposed, church ages, as well as specific churches, as well as any church going on today. That's how the spiritual world works. It works on multiple levels, on multiple dimensions, on multiple lines of complication, we could say. It's intricate. So it says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Interesting. Well, the rivers generally, this references the Euphrates specifically, but water generally in the book of Revelations is a reference to where people were at. And the Euphrates here would be a geographical location. So maybe the people were drying up there. I don't know. I don't know what this means specifically. It is out of context and the way I have it presented here. But I don't know. I thought I'd show you some maps. Just some things rattling around in my head, some ideas. So the Euphrates is like over here, right? And the kings of the east would have been like the people. Hold on, I just realized I have my mouse on the wrong screen, guys. Okay, so hopefully you can see my little pointer here, right, for the maps. My little magnifying glass. So Euphrates is like in this area, right? And of course we have like this is the whole like Fertile Crescent area, right? Where civilization is believed to have started. When it talks about the kings of the east, the only strong political power of any time period that has ever come from the east has either come straight out of the Middle East, right, like the Ottoman Empire, or has come like way out from over here, like the Huns and the Mongols and China. So it's just something to think about. Russia would be, one of the kings of the east. Of course, here we have the Ukraine, and Belarus is that drying up? Does that have something to do with oil? I don't know. I'm spitballing here. I'm not saying that what I'm that these are predictions of what's actually going on per se. What I'm saying is there something that makes me think, right? Because I've been espousing this for a long time, and I don't have a lot of indication in the scripture that that there's going to be a changeover of money into the Chinese yuan and all of those things. Like I don't have any indication of that, but yet this passage sticks out in my mind, and it has for a long time. And so I contemplate and I wonder about these things, right? And so here again we have another map. A little bit prettier, a little bit brighter. Aha, that's what happened. Okay. So again, we can kind of see the distinctions of these lands, and for some reason, these were the lands that we're fighting over, right? The U.S. is fighting for control of Afghanistan. They want to go into Iran and completely demolish it because they don't like its government, but they want its oil. Of course, Iraq, we were there. The Saudis work with us, but seemingly they're not now. Although I think that's part of the plan. We have Syria and all places we've gone. Of course, there's little old Israel, Egypt, Libya. Libya, of course, we destroyed. Sudan, we're quite interested in. We were in Ethiopia and Somalia, and up around here. I was up in Djibouti when I was in the military before we went into Iraq. So why is this part of the world so interesting to us? Again, I'm just spitballing, folks. I can show you lots of maps, but I just kind of want you guys to really get some perspective on geography. Not that you're fools, but this is the part of the world we're most concerned with right now, is it not? In Russia, they're the greatest threat ever, but they're not really. They don't have a big economy. They don't have a big population right here. You guys can probably see up in the corner there. Let me zoom that. This is a map of country by population. Russia has 144 million people. That's a lot of people. But like Europe has that, you could see right there. Europe has that beat easily. All of Europe, NATO Europe, that is, right? Here we're talking about Belarus supporting them. Tiny, tiny little country. Not even 10 million people in it. Ukraine has 44 million. So, and of course, we have China with 1.5 billion nearly, India with nearly 1.5 billion, the U.S., which is the third largest country by population, with a third of a billion, and then Brazil. Yeah, Russia's large. It's the fifth largest or sixth largest nation in the world. I think it's the fifth. No, Nigeria is larger. I see that right now. Okay, so it's the sixth largest nation in the world by population. But like, are we concerned that we can't fight a war with a population, without going nuclear or whatever else? Like, why is this a big deal with a country that doesn't have a GDP the size of Texas or California or New York or any number of NATO states, mind you? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but that New World Order thing, that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear to me. And, what I am really wanting to do is, when it comes to talking about these things, is just say, hey, can we not be rational about this? Are these people really, is this really a conspiracy? Is this not like something that they repeat and say over and over again? Is this not something we can find written about them? Is this not something that is clearly stated as their objective and goals? There's 1,000 points of light, though. All you people out there, he wasn't talking about you. He was not talking about you. He was talking about the people that support the global world order. And that would be like the mainstream media, right? That would be our institutions. That would be the banks, the IMF, the UN, all the secret societies, all the little think tank groups like the World Economic Forum. That's what we're looking at. Does YouTube hate me? Am I on YouTube still, anti-commie? I don't even have it pulled up. But you guys are chatting in YouTube. Or is that okay, I'm running on YouTube. I see that. Cool. Yeah. I'm going to assume that it's because you didn't get a notification. I don't use notifications, so. But anyways, guys, I got to go to work. I'm going to get out of here. But I wanted to leave you one last thing that's just utterly silly, but also ironic. So, damn, I don't know if I brought the coin with me. I went through some change today. I have a bunch of change in my car. And I actually just grabbed it because I had cash. And every time I have cash, I always need change, right? If I use it. So I came across this. This is a quarter that's actually potentially quite valuable. This is an article from January 8th, 2020. This is a national park quarter from 2020. And it's, celebrating the America Samoa and the Samoan bat. Now, I never heard of this freaking bat before. I didn't even know this coin was printed. I don't pay attention to these things. But does anyone else see the little bit of irony in printing a bat coin? Mind you, the Treasury prints this, but really it's tied into the Fed and everything else and the international order. Does anyone else find some irony in this? It's quite interesting though. I actually told my wife I wanted one of these quarters I have from the Philadelphia Mint. Some of these are actually kind of valuable for what they are, not super valuable. We're talking like instead of 25 cents, they're worth like $3 if it's an uncirculated condition. The Philadelphia Mint one I have is worth 75 cents. So there you go. But I don't know. I'm not trying to just like see things where they don't exist. I'm really not. I just found this quite ironic. Today, like I said, I ran out, I had a quarter, and I was like, I looked at it and I was like, I've never seen this quarter before. I'm like, what are we doing with bats on our quarter? 2020? All right. I don't know. I don't know. You guys do your own research, right? Um, guys, sorry about the inconsistency. I'm going to really try and be more consistent um, for certain, but I'm not going to give you a set schedule right now. It's just how it is. Sorry. Until I can start streaming for sure regularly, I'm just not going to set a schedule. Basically, ever since I took my break because of my strikes, well, it's been inconsistent, and that's unfortunate for me. Maybe for you too. I don't know. I'm sure you watch other things that you enjoy, but I would like to grow here. So please help me grow. Share this out if you enjoyed it. Go over to the Rumble channel and sub there if you haven't yet, and follow me on Entropy too if you like. I don't have anybody over there today, but hey, no big deal. But please do all that. I'll try to be back Friday, and I probably will stream Friday because my wife is going out of town with the baby. So I'm like a free man aside from having to work that evening. And same with no, wait. No, Sunday. Yeah. Probably stream Sunday too because she'll be out of town. I do work that evening, but around, I'll be able to stream earlier. So siesta stream might be on this Sunday, we'll see. We'll see. But keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for notifications or check on the channel to see if I set up a link for it. With all that, thanks guys for showing up. I appreciate you all very much. This has been All Minus One, and my name is Bill, and I wish you guys well.